Hi, hello, it's your point 8. I read books because reading is sexy, and if you're not reading, you're not sexy. Get to it. It is the November reading wrap-up, and it is so scary to say that the end of the year is already here. My schedule's full until beginning of February. I'm that person. I like to plan things. So books as well, and things I'm thinking about reading. What this past month and next month will be, or say this month, December, is mostly like ARCs to see if there are any like shining gems from 2025 that I want to add to the list. You know what I mean? Like last minute reads, Oscar season. But yeah, reading has been quite slow. I've been reading for work a lot as well. I am now writing reviews for the Korea Times. So I'll link one of the reviews down there for you. Read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, wait, what? 7 books for November. Let's get into it. Started the month strong with Picture Cycle by Masha Tupitsyn. This book made me realize how much I love writing about life on Letterboxd. And if anyone follows me on Letterboxd, I don't really write typical reviews. There's just, I don't know, God, I sound pretentious every time I think about saying this, but cinema is life and life is cinema. I just see life like that, and I feel too much too, and I think about things way too deeply, to the point where there's just this beautiful mixture of life and cinema that I just like to incorporate a lot. Cinema feeds my life, and life feeds my viewing of cinema. And I think Tupitsyn has this beautiful balance of both, while also having this beautiful layer of strong film critique. I think based on her philosophical readings, an extensive watch list, and her touch on pop culture. This is a beautiful book about many different things. One about celebrity life, the parasocial relationship. Mind you, this was written in like 2017, I want to say. Let's fact check that, folks. 2019, not too far off. How Bresson had such a huge impression on Dennis Cooper. And there's just this great relation to life, love, and cinema in a way that is just everything I want to achieve. As someone who reviews books and reviews films, it makes me question, like, am I an actual reviewer? Am I a person that critiques? Or am I just someone who just loves books and movies enough to just be able to talk about them in a respectful manner? But if you love cinema, this is wonderful. But if you're like afraid of reading about cinema, I think this is also wonderful because it's engaging in how she incorporates her love life in this as well. A lot of like recent breakups and such informed a lot of her viewing and reviewing of things. I think there's like a single essay in here actually about like love, and it's just written in these like prose style bullet points that is just beautiful and rich. I love this to death. This was a Pato rec. Thank you, Pato, for putting this on the people's radar. Finally happy I got to it because it's just phenomenal. Just like a holy text to me now, and something that I'll reference back to over and over again. Next up, I don't have it with me because I hated it so much, was The Cockroach by McEwan. This is a political satire pre-Brexit where all the cabinet members become cockroaches and just like talk to each other in cockroach form. It's very angry, and I think that's it. It's very politically charged in its anger, but overall, it was way too long for what it needed to be. It was like 90 pages of just roaches talking to each other without like... See, the thing with critique, I feel, is that 1, it must attack, but 2, it must offer solutions. I feel like any space within art criticism, there needs to be an alleviation. We need the aloe vera soothing cream after. You can't just come in blazing guns and not offer any resolution. Though I will say, it does work in some cases where it is really writing within the anger and that spirit of anger, but this just was all anger, and it was really flat anger. I think probably McEwan's worst book, in my opinion. And it's so funny because a lot of people like to bring it up in interviews at times. He's like, why are you bringing that book up? I wrote it then, and that's it. Which is to say, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, you put it out into the world. You should expect some people to bring it up and have it revolve around your oeuvre and what it says to the rest of your work, and as well as what it says to now. There exists a timelessness, I think, when we think of literature, where Books are created with a sort of emotional distance. So with that in mind, it always has an edge of the present tense to it, to speak on our time, the time then, and the time in the future. Mid, really mid, but very angry. Next up, did Midnight Timetable by Bora Chung, newly translated this year. It is a collection of ghost stories that congeal into the form of a novel. We have our sonbei, which is like sort of like the elder. Like if you worked at a company for a really long time and there's that one person that just like knows all the tea, knows all the like the nooks and crannies of the workplace, and just knows everything. That is kind of what it is. Just like sort of this elder person. Anyway, this new person comes in and is experiencing paranormal things. Sheep's missing eyes, a dead cat, hallways that disappear. And with all of this, it's wrapped in with Bora's usual political social commentary on Korean life. There's quick flashes of animal rights, gay conversion therapy, the patriarchy, misogyny in Korea. The list goes on. It's beautiful the way that she talks about these topics because they're so bloodshot obvious with that extra layer of ghost stories that really makes you question, like, this is the reality I'm living in and I need to be doing something about it. It works really well in this book because this book is told with this beautiful touch of where it feels like someone is relaying stories to you. So it has this like conversational tone to it with a delicate balance of the spooky, but also the comedy. And it's in this like dry humor that I think really makes the themes pointed more. Always good to be in the hands of Bora Chung, and she had a cute chat at DB Books with Carrie Cakes. And yeah, it was such a joy to hear her talk about literature, politics, and this book. Oh wait, I need to show you. It's signed. Can I show you? Look at that. Signed. There's a little line there. You see that? Cute. Next up, did On Contemporary Art by Cesar Aira. This is a David Swerner book. Great gallery. I love all the contemporary art that they pull through their galleries. This was okay. Cesar makes the argument that all modern art is only a reproduction of what has been made before, sort of exists just as ghosts. With that, it's written with a kind of sarcastic tone where I don't think he really appreciates modern art. Mind you, this was written in 2017, and I don't think the art world was really doing interesting stuff then. I think the art world looks very different now, especially with capitalism heavily involved, and I think the art markets look a little different when we think of like Hong Kong or Shanghai, New York still, Seoul even. Like art world in Seoul now compared to art world in Seoul in 2017, very different. I think there were definitely fewer international galleries, less of a focus on international art when we think of like the global market for art. It's kind of condescending in a way, which really put me off. As someone like Cesar, who has written over 100 books and still I feel like exists in the contemporary, is he saying that like all of his fiction now is only a reproduction of what came before him? I don't know. I thought this was just fine. I honestly think he needs to see art now, and I would like him to revisit this argument and would like to know what he thinks of art now. This one's a pass for me. Next up, did Forbidden Colors by Yukio Mishima. Also, I am so sorry, Simon Savage Reads. I had to, I don't know. It was just staring at me, and I was really craving Yukio Mishima. Yeah, his death anniversary just passed, and I was just like, it was just time. And also, I'm just like in the throes of some feels right now, just saying. Yeah. This is about an older gay who is closeted and is in between women and hates them because he can't get this little twink that he wants to love, but the twink doesn't reciprocate that love. That's pretty much the whole book. It's in 400 pages. Mishima, problematic, kooky guy. His politics and his writing, it's just so fascinating to me, the life that he's led. But a major thing that you find in all of his work is that he hates the female form so much to the point that it warps itself into this love and appreciation for the male form and the male psyche. It deals with this like weird balance of toxic masculinity and misogyny in order to find self-love. And I think out of everything that I've read from Mishima, this seems to be his like most prominently gay book. And this is him sort of really stepping outside of the closet and admitting he's a gay. And it's so weird to think that like he has to hate someone or something so much in order to find the love for himself. And I was just thinking about like, how did I even find love for myself? What's that RuPaul line, you know? How are you gonna love somebody else if you don't love yourself? I'm butchering that. But it made me think about like, what did I hate in order to love myself? What did I hate in order to love someone? Can I just love 100% and not be it evil, ugly, full of self-loathing? Honestly, I want to say that in order to love myself, I really hated myself. Like, yeah, I was just so filled with self-loathing. I felt like being queer at a very early age was just like this disgusting thing that I could never get rid of, that I have to hide, and in part still have to hide because I live in Korea. I'm just like, it made me really think and like pin down where and when I hated myself the most in order to just love those secret crevices. It's interesting to see that here. There's some wild lines in here that made me think, Mishima, man, you just needed to sleep with more men in order to find who you were, who you truly were. See, this is one of the reasons why I love Mishima. He just slips into the philosophical at points where I'm just like, wow, okay, yes. I mean, all of it is hate, but like he does have his head on his shoulders at some points. It is, however, usual that form is lacking in human experience and influence on human life. To clothe formless experience with form and offer, as it were, human life in a ready-made suit of clothes is what the work of art attempts to do, the naturalistic school believes. Form was the inborn destiny of art. One had to believe that the human experience within a work and real-life experience are different in dimension, depending on whether form is present or not. Within real-life human experience, however, there is something that is very close to what is experienced in a work. What is it? It is the impression accorded by death. We cannot experience death, but we sometimes experience the impression of it. We experience the idea of death in a death in the family and the death of a loved one. In sum, death is the unique form of life. In the Orient, death is many times more vivid than life. The artistic work was a kind of refined death. It had a peculiar power to permit life to touch and experience death in advance. And it goes on. It goes on. It's interesting. You understand why the man decided to unalive himself, and him at his most vulnerable is what I think I really appreciate about this work. Next up did Vera, or Faith, by Gary Shteyngart. This was sent to me as an ARC, which is already out now, on sale July 8th. This is a sort of geopolitical family drama concerning Russian roots, Korean roots, this adopted daughter who is precocious for who she is and is trying to find the root of all the family drama. Like, why is the family so estranged? And there's bouts of affairs happening as well. But it's a sort of like a quirky, fun ride with a very New England feel to it. It's set in Boston. Yeah, I thought it was just fine. This definitely felt like one of those B-grade A24 movies where the film grain and the color correction looks really good, but the subject matter is just kind of meh, and the performances are just kind of meh, and it's fun and frivolous in a way where it's entertaining by the end of the day, but did I remember most of it? No. Yeah, I just thought there were like references in here that just felt way too boomerish with like a boomer lens, but still contemporary. I honestly just picked this up because I saw some hot daddy read it. I think it was Interview Mag that just had like this carousel on Instagram of just hot people reading books, and one of the hot daddies was reading this, and I was just like, I'm gonna read that. I could have read something else. Okay, last book of November, I did Clarice Lispector's The Burn Sinner and the Harmonious Angels in the Penguin Archive edition. Look out, Fitzcarraldo. This is it. This is my new Fitzcarraldo. They're just these like slim, cute, pocket-sized books, and I'm all for that. Collection of short stories that I think is better collected in the complete stories, but this curation's quite nice. I think if you're afraid to start Lispector, this definitely is a wonderful place to start. But it's all done in usual Lispectorism about time, the self, love, actually. A lot more love in this book than I was anticipating. But I think the sort of last few stories are really what takes the cake. It really drives towards Lispector's Lispectorism, if you will. There's a great sense of mysticism. And what does that mean for anyone who hasn't read Lispector is just, there's like this great sense of mysticism, this love around language, the origin of language, and the relaying of language. Like, what am I saying Does it really hold all of its meaning, and is it being conveyed to you in a meaningful way with all of its meanings attached from its original intent? Yeah, I thought this was fine. I think I saw some of my faves reading it, and I was just like, okay, let me do it. And yeah, glad I picked it up. I don't know, I've been feeling like really sluggish in November, and I was just like, let me go back to something that I really love, and I admire Lispector so much that this was wonderful to have with me. And yeah, it was good. That's it. That's all the books I read in November. Let me know what you read in November. I'd like to know. Love adding books to my never-ending TBR. As always, I am a Blackwell's affiliate, so if you enjoyed me talking about any of these books, please consider using my affiliate link downstairs. Blackwell's offers free international shipping, so for all my expats out there, good place to pick up books, right here. And I would like to share, I have this recent fixation on library covering my books, like wrapping it in a plastic. I don't know if you can really tell. I just decided that, like, to protect my books, I'm going to wrap all of them in this vinyl. Oh, I think you can see it best here. Look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? It's very prismy. I don't think a lot of people like that. I kind of do. It's grown on me. Yeah, it's been so therapeutic to just like nip and tuck things for my books, and now they're protected. Yeah. I especially did this for some like really old books that are just like falling apart, and I was just like, now they're good. They're taken care of. Whew. Okay. Oh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Anyway, thank you always for being here and listening to me yap about books. Love you all. As always, be well, do good work, keep in touch. Okay, it's thumbnail time. Let's do this, folks. I think it's gonna be easy this time around. Let's do this. Oop, let me make sure that these little guys are facing y'all. That looks awkward, hold on. I hope those are fine.